Good afternoon. We'll call the meeting to order. Bernie Dardis has a meeting afterwards, so he wants us to be done early. So if you all could cooperate today, that'd be helpful. And I hear Mary Carlson has some kind of cha-cha dance or something she's got to do over in Moorhead. So call to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Mr. Peterson.
I'm here.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Here.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mr. Ebinger.
Here.
Mr. Strand.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mrs. Sherling.
I'm here.
Mr. Grimberg. Mr. Olson. Mr. Seldewald.
Here.
That is everyone. We have a quorum.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 23rd, 2023 meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda. Is there approval to approve the following finance report, voucher approval, and DA Board of Approval contract actions?
So moved.
Is there a second? Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mayor Dardis.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Strand.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling.
Yes.
Mr. Seldewald.
Aye.
That is everyone.
Executive Director report. Joel?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair, board members. Just wanted to report out a few speaking and outreach engagements that I had this month. Martin and I attended the P3 conference and obviously got a lot of interest being one of the last large P3 projects to close recently. A lot of folks interested in what we're doing. We also interacted with folks from Shakuna, Benue, and Acciona at that conference. I did provide a legislative update on March 15th to the Energy and Environment Committee for the House. Got a lot of great feedback from them. They thanked me for being there. They were impressed with the amount of construction that has already occurred. And they're certainly looking forward to making some visits this summer, making some site visits and seeing the construction firsthand. Also wanted to report to the board, the MCC JPA did order my staff to help and assist in delivering a $60.4 million bill to the Minnesota legislature. That was delivered to Representative Joy, who did introduce that bill. So we'll continue to track that and report on the progress. A few project-specific highlights this month. We did finally close with BNSF on the rail line that enters Horace and crosses the Diversion channel. If the board remembers that this deal basically prevents us from having to build another bridge. We're estimating around probably about a $7 million savings to the project because of the work that was done. Did take a number of years, of course, but I think it was an innovative approach to save taxpayer money. And so that continues to move forward. The forum is currently working on a story, I think, to kind of explain the whole transaction and the approach that the board took there. So look for that probably within the next week here. We also discussed the creation of the Recreation Task Force at the last Planning Commission meeting. And the Planning Commission has tasked me with kind of coming forward with a recommended task force from different entities that might be interested. So we'll be working on that and bring that to the next Planning Commission meeting on April 11th. We also have been having some discussions with the developer on sustainability and resilience incorporation into the channel. They've made it clear that they're looking for concepts and things, and they're willing to pay for them and incorporate those, and they would like to do those in partnership with us. So we talked about some different alternative energy, and then also incorporating culture and heritage into the overall construction of the project. So more to come on that. I think they're really just concepts right now. We're looking for opportunities to assist RRVA in developing concepts that will work for us. We also had a number of meetings with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the resource agencies regarding fish passage on the aqueduct structures. And I think the board's aware this has been obviously a topic that we've been discussing for some time. We're certainly, I think, keying in on some feasible options that will make the resource agencies accept their design and also, meet the requirements to not have any negative impact on the fisheries. So, again, more to come on that. We continue to work with our engineering teams and our staff to find a resolution to that issue. So, with that, Mr. Chair, certainly stand for any questions.
Any questions, team? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
General Consult update, John Shockley.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I have one item on the agenda today. It's a rather routine matter. As you may recall, there is an MOU between Cass County, the Diversion Authority, and the Cass County Joint Water Resource District. As the diversion channel is undertaken, some of the roads will be closed or rerouted that cross over the diversion channel. This is part of that process in which the Diversion Authority makes a formal request to Cass County to take over those rights of way pursuant to the MOU that was previously entered into. On Exhibit A, which I believe is on page 57 of your packet, there's a number of exhibits that show where the roads are if you're interested. So just need a motion and a second to approve it.
So move.
Is there a second?
Roger, second.
Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Mayor Dardis,
Yes.
Mayor Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson,
Aye.
Mr. Pepcorn,
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger,
Aye.
Mr. Strand,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Sherling,
Yes.
Mr. Salzwald.
Aye.
That is everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger says aye too.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you, Mr. Olson.
All right, thanks.
Construction progress updates. Terry, are you online?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Terry Williams, Corps of Engineers with the monthly update for March. You should have this in your packet. Number one, the diversion inlet structure. This is covered under the upcoming drone footage. Construction will be complete this year for this structure, and preparations continue to hold training sessions for Diversion Authority staff with respect to operations and maintenance of this large structure. Number two, the wild rice. This is also covered by the drone footage, the big upcoming event, which we were anticipating this week, but apparently you guys love to have snowstorms even into March. And so next week we anticipate that the contractor will be routing the Wild Rice River through the structure. This is a big event. We've invited Natural Resource Agency partners working with your outreach staff to ensure that that drone footage covers this event and press release and all of that. So looking forward to next week. I-29 raise, that is still paused for winter, basically. Down to number 5, the Red River structure, kind of the same thing. Pile driving continues for the foundation. And we anticipate the first of very, large concrete pours starting to happen early summer and continue throughout 2023. Drain 27, this is number 6. We did receive bids for that native plantings contract. We received 4 bids, and we're in the process of looking at those bids and hopefully awarding a contract in the next month or two to plant the wetlands and maintain them for 5 years. Number 7, Drayton Dam, got a lot of good press on that as well for what happened on March 1st, which was the contractor did do a breach of the existing dam to draw water down in preparation for more work this spring and summer when they will actually remove the dam itself this summer. Number 8, Reach SE2A, that's still paused for winter. And number 9, as always, we're designing like crazy, designing the rest of the Southern Embankment reaches preparation for contract awards in 24 and 25. With that, Chairman Mahoney, are there any questions?
Any questions of the group? Pretty quiet group today, Terry. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, you're going to give us a project update.
Yeah, Chairman Honey and board members, thanks. I'll give a quick update on the diversion channel progress. Again, on the design side, we're still making progress on our design submittals. We are nearing the 1,000 review cycle mark, so we've been very active in reviewing and commenting and approving plans for the project. We have made some progress on plan approval. We approved 11 new plans this month, 8 utilities and 3 new design packages. And again, we're continuing on our cadence. We have anywhere right around 50 submittals being reviewed at any one time on the design side. So a lot of great progress there. Construction, same. We've been working through the winter. A lot of things are queued to start as soon as we get a little bit better weather. In Reach 3, they have started to move some equipment across the interstate to start on the west side of the interstate. They're just doing site prep yet. They haven't started any active construction or excavation yet, but they're nearing that mark very soon. Again, they're queuing up for getting some bridge work started. The County Road 4 and 31 bridge and County Road 22 bridges should be the first out of the chute on the bridge side. As you can see on the map, there's several others that they're queuing up and going to be starting construction in the next 30 to 60 days. Again, the drain inlets, they'll be starting at least preparing the actual inlets into the channel. Cut over on most of these and routing of water into the channel will wait a little while until they actually have the outlet constructed and the ability to pass the water directly into the Red River, but they will get started on those inlets. And again, they're looking forward to starting the Maple River Aqueduct very soon as well. Again, that's one of the items why we're pushing so hard with the fish passage items that Joel mentioned. And again, a lot of these still are dependent on spring melt, and just as I know we got new news today on flood prep work, our RVA has started and has been discussing with our team and internally on kind of their plan for how they would deal with either overland flooding or river flooding this year on their construction sites. So all those conversations are ongoing, and with that, I'd stand for any questions you guys might have on the construction and design progress.
Any questions? Thank you, Chris.
You bet.
Amy, you gonna do us some drone stuff here?
Contractors at multiple work sites have been making preparations in anticipation of marking some big milestones in the near future. I'm Tom Fuchs, the Metro Flood Diversion Authority's Senior Construction Manager, with your March construction update. Those traveling north of Harwood on I-29 may have started to notice construction activity as excavation nears the interstate. ASN Constructors, which is building the 30-mile-long stormwater diversion channel that will route floodwater around the community, continues its work on all channel segments east of I-29 and is preparing to start work west of the interstate. In advance of the spring thaw and road restrictions, ASN has begun mobilizing its equipment fleet to nearby County Road 32, where preliminary work is now underway west of I-29. After the spring thaw and throughout the 2023 construction season, even more activity can be expected near I-29 as our public-private partnership developer, the Red River Valley Alliance, will construct temporary bypasses for all lanes of I-29, County Road 81, and the BNSF Railway to make way for multiple bridges that will span the completed stormwater diversion channel. Farther south, the project is nearing a major milestone at the Wild Rice River structure. Crews poured an additional 950 cubic yards of concrete to complete the apron on the upstream side of the structure early this month. Now, formwork, access stairs, and other temporary construction measures are being removed, and another 8,000 cubic yards of riprap being placed in preparation for rerouting the river. In the coming weeks, crews will complete excavation and install earthen cofferdams, which will enclose the river flow along its existing path on the Oxbow to the east and instead route it through the structure. It's a big milestone that we will be sure to share in a future video. Over at the diversion inlet structure, preparations are underway to install a third and final 50-foot wide gate. To see maps and ongoing construction updates, go to fmdiversion.gov. Thanks for watching.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. As you see, we're looking to get a lot of drone footage here in coming weeks with some of those big highlights coming up. In the meantime, I have an update of what we have been working on. Joel touched on some coordination that we've been doing with the forum regarding some of the rail lines. And then we sent our first update to the congressional delegation and governors on both sides of the river, as well as the North Dakota legislators this week, and have given them a project update, a few high-level key messages that they might find useful, and we had a request to share some calendar-related information as well. So we packaged that all together and shared that. We're also busy with additional videos. Hopefully you had a chance to see the latest Faces of the Diversion, which was Rick, who is the Health and Safety Director for ASN Constructors. I think you've all had the chance to meet him. In the next couple of weeks, we will introduce you to Brandy Ani, who you see when you walk in ASN Constructors' office. And we also have another 101 level animated video that will explain how the P3 works. Those last two will be in our next newsletter, which we will continue to evolve a little bit, but as we go, our numbers continue to get better and better. You'll notice we're about 12% above industry averages in terms of the open rate, and our click rate is close to 10% higher than most others. So there's definitely interest. Our bounce rate's still lower than what we would want, but cleaning up that list before the next iteration of this should help. And our unsubscribers continue to be low, while we still get a number each month who are signing up to get that via the website. That's all I have for you this month. Do you have any questions?
And when you're going to do the Wild Rice diversion, what date will that be on?
We're looking at next Friday, tentatively.
And just if members want to come out there, can you send out a notice for us if we want to see it?
Sure, I'll coordinate with Terry on that. We're looking at, how to pull that together to make sure everybody has the chance to see what's going on. I understand it won't be as dramatic as we might anticipate, but it's definitely a major milestone I know a lot of us would like to witness.
Yep. I think that'd be nice. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Land management update, Jody Smith.
Yes, good afternoon. On the screen before you, you can see the maps that we've been presenting, I think, for a couple of years now. You'll see some of the colors changing. Anything indicated in the dark orange means we have filed eminent domain on those particular parcels. Anything in green means we have fully acquired it, and the blue means we are still in negotiations. On the next page, on the next slide, you'll see an overall picture of the construction footprint. We did increase by 1.2% month over month, and then in the UMA footprint, we did increase about 2% month over month. On the next slide, we get into a little bit more detail of the different locations. You can see we're continuing to work towards securing 100% in each of those areas. A note that we did increase both in the southern embankment, the upstream mitigation area, and the environmental monitoring easements, as well as finalizing some of the stormwater diversion channel eminent domain cases. Those were quick take eminent domain cases that we were able to close on. On the next slide then is one of our newer slides. You can see the overall number of landowners who are impacted both in the construction footprint and in the UMA footprint. You can see that relationship between how many owner groups we have and how many parcels we have to close in each of those areas. On the next slide then, from a very high level overview, it is worth noting that we continue negotiating settlement agreements for all existing eminent domain cases. We're continuing to file eminent domain on the landowners or on the parcels, I should say, that we're not able to acquire through active negotiations. We did complete the filings for the SE2B reach, and then the last month we were able to secure or close on 19 parcels and 12 landowners. In addition, we have 34 farmland leases that have been completed. Throughout the day at the two joint board meetings, the boards did respectively agree to settling with 3 property owners covering 5 parcels, and I anticipate a significant more coming through this next month. And I think a resounding report from our land agents were that they're continuing to actively negotiate and understanding that the ones that we are now negotiating on have some additional moving parts and are a little bit more complex and are taking some additional time to negotiate. If there's any questions that I can answer.
Any questions, anybody? Thank you. Good report.
Thank you.
Financial update, Mayor Dardis.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Finance Committee met yesterday. We had a very short agenda. The bills were presented by Terry Gayhart, Finance Director for the City of Fargo. $8,539,399 were submitted. Of that, $8,348,000 were from the Cass County Joint Water. Our net position on cash is $179,332,000. And as we approved earlier, the board action of that Mr. Paulson shared with us was for $69,600, which was for services for mowing and the like. With that, I would stand for, I'd like to make one other comment with regard to finance. I think it's, it was kind of lightly talked about by Mr. Paulson, but I think it's extremely significant that our Minnesota partners and the work that they've done, and they now have Representative Joy carrying that bill for work that can be done in Minnesota. I think that's a significant milestone with the diversion, and to all of our Minnesota partners, thank you for your work on that side of the river and to try and secure that additional funding. That stands my report. Anything else? Any questions? I understand for.
Thank you. And as chair, I'd also like to thank Minnesota delegation team for getting that $60 million in front of the budget surplus they have, and hopefully they will fund that. I heard on your underpass you got some federal money, Mayor Carlson, that now has helped close some gaps, and I'll be able to drive through Moorhead without any train stopping me. Is that right?
That's correct.
Is there any other business? Any other comments? Oh, Mayor Dardis, it's unusual you to get the last word.
I have to say this. This past week, I was asked to speak to about 50 to 60 residents of West Fargo on the diversion. And I wanted to say that, Amy, what you did for in sharing information, slides to our communications department, and thus I got to use those in the presentation. They were magnificent, and I'm very grateful for your help on that. Thank you.
I heard you almost got a standing ovation. They couldn't get up with their walkers, so they couldn't give it to you, but otherwise you would have gotten it.
Apparently you know where I'm at, huh?
Commissioner Pepcorn.
Mr. Chair, so then that's the second ovation that you've had this week, Mayor Dardis. So you are really basking in success this week.
Thank you, Mayor Pipcorn. Mayor Pipcorn, excuse me, Commissioner Pipcorn.
Dave, you're moving up. Motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Aye.